everyone. Today I'd like to take you downtown with me. This area has a lot of interesting street art and murals on the sides of the buildings, and I thought it would be fun to walk around a little bit and paint some of the sights down here. Now, unfortunately, when I made this plan, I didn't realize that it was going to rain off and on most of the day. So when I got out of my car and did a little bit of walking, the first thing I realized was that I was getting dripped on. And it's not a whole lot of fun to do sketching and watercolor painting when you're being rained on, especially the painting part, because then the rain is basically washing your paint away as you put it down. So I ended up going back to my car, and I realized that I actually had a view of a couple of really interesting murals across the street. One of which was LaGrange, and the other one was the Central Animal Hospital. So I decided that I was just going to paint the view from my car. So I set up my camera on the cup holder in the door beside me and started sketching. If you see the camera moving a little bit, that's because I had my motor and my AC running during this whole time, because it was very hot and humid outside in spite of the rain, and whenever I turned off my AC, my car started to heat up really quickly. So the first thing I did was a rough sketch of the scene that I wanted to paint, and I used a ruler for some of this because when you're painting architecture, there are a lot of straight lines involved, and if you've ever tried to draw a perfectly straight line, you know it's harder than it looks. Another thing to keep in mind if you are painting a street scene is how far away things are from each other and how big they are in relation to each other. So for example, the LaGrange building is farther away in the painting, and because it's in the background, it's going to be smaller in relation to some of the foreground elements. When I say foreground, I mean the things that are in the front of the painting, like the telephone pole and some of the street signs. Usually when you're painting, you will have a foreground, the things in the front. You'll have a middle ground, things towards the middle of the painting, and then you'll have a background, which are the things at the back. One rule of thumb to keep in mind is that as things get farther away, they get smaller. So for example, the LaGrange building is not that much bigger than the stop sign in the middle of my painting. Now in real life, of course, the building is huge in comparison to the stop sign. But because the building was so much farther away from me, it ended up being about the same size as the stop sign. If that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, try this. Take a photo with a cell phone of any scene outside, and then put a piece of tracing paper over the cell phone screen and sketch out the size of the things on the screen. So for example, if you take a photo of your car and your driveway and your neighbor's house across the street, you'll find that the house across the street is going to be smaller than you might expect it to be. This concept is sometimes called perspective, and it's basically the idea that as things get farther away, they recede into the distance. And there are lots of art books that will teach you various tips and tricks for learning perspective. But for me, what I found works the best is to just sit down, draw a street scene, and then I go to another place another day and I draw another scene. Practicing is really the best way to get better at any skill. There aren't really a whole lot of shortcuts to getting really good at something. Putting the time in and the practice in and the effort in is how you get to be a better artist. I hope this video inspires you to go out and find a scene around your neighborhood or your downtown to sketch and paint. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.